Morning everyone. Once again, I'm just chuckling at Tony counting me down into starting the video. I'm not going to do an impression. I can't sing. Neither can Tony. So there you go. Welcome to Compliance Over Coffee. I'm in trouble now. This morning is a member question, and it's from Zama. And I'm just going to read off the paper because there's a few bits to it, and I know that these are important to Zama. So, asking about the risks of non-compliant sourcing agent using a compliant sourcing agent. Sourcing a deal to an investor. The investor is contracted to the compliant sourcer. The non-compliant sourcer has done the work on the deal, and there are contracts between the sourcers and the split fee. So the question is about the risks of that scenario. And I can tell you all that the risks are high because regardless of whether you're handing an investor a deal to a source with another investor or any other scenario that you want to come across, the risks are very, very high because you're non-compliant. And it doesn't matter that the contract is between the compliant sourcing agent and the investor. It doesn't matter a jot. You're splitting a fee. You're behaving as a business, you're behaving as an estate agency working business, so you have to be compliant. There are no workarounds for this, everyone. There's just no workaround for it. And, I've thought about it in lots of different ways, every which way but loose, but there is no way around getting around it. And the reason for it is because you're doing the job. You're doing the work, you're receiving the fee, so why would you not have to be compliant? You have to be. And the risk is not just that you're operating illegally, but probably key problem for you is if any complaint is made by the investor or if HMRC get wind and they can easily find out from the other sourcing agent who got them the deal because they will have details on file, and them coming to you and saying, fine, what due diligence did you do on the investor? Because although you may have handed the deal over to the investor, you still have a legal requirement to have carried out due diligence on the investor. And I know that will be virtually impossible for you if the other sourcing agent controls the investor, because they won't give you the details. And I'll tell you now, and I stand by this, that probably only 1% of sourcing agents in the UK currently actually are legal and compliant in such a way that their processes will stand up to scrutiny by HMRC. And you're just not covered by, even if they have every bit of compliance in place, you are still not covered unless you are employed by that sourcer and employed under the definition as HMRC use it, which is they have a contract of employment with you and they are registered for payroll as an employer and they pay tax and national insurance contributions. And no other sourcing agent is going to do that. So no matter what circumstances you come up with, if you are the non-compliant sourcer, you are in danger every which way but loose. There's no two ways about it. And don't think for one moment that HMRC don't scrutinise deals. Of course they do. And even if the other sourcer is fully compliant, if HMRC go to them and ask for details of the clients that they've worked with in the last 12 months and what deals have been done, and they ask for it, they do ask for that, they're going to ask where that deal came from and how they got it, and your name is going to be on their records. You can't get around it, guys. There's no way. And I'm really sorry about that, because I know that when you come off some of these sourcing courses, you think that, I can co-source with the people that have run the course, or I can co-source with another sourcer who's experienced and get some money in the bank and then get compliant myself. And there's no one stopping you from doing it, but you're operating illegally and you are at incredibly high risk. And at the moment, HMRC's average fine has gone up from just over £5,000 to just over £7,000. So if, about £1,500 to get compliant, get all of your legalities in place, get a bit of training and get your documentation in place is too much money for you at the moment, then you need to stop sourcing and you need to get the cash in place first. Morning, Pauline, how are you doing? So Zamar, in brief, you're at high risk. I wouldn't advise doing it at all in any way, shape or form. And anyone that does tell you that you can do it, I would ask them to put in writing that if you are caught and you are fined, are they prepared to pay your fine? And the other kicker is, if the sourcing agent that you're working with, whether you think they're fully compliant or not, hasn't done the checks on the investor, doesn't know if they're money laundering or tax avoiding, and aid and abet them in doing so, maybe even unwittingly, it doesn't make any difference. Because you're a part of that deal, you will be dragged into it. And don't forget, potentially there are prison sentences for money laundering and aiding tax evasion. So, these are quite serious offences, and you're putting yourselves in huge risk if you are the non-compliant sourcer in any deal. If you operate as a sourcing agent without full compliance in place, you're running a risk. You're running a high risk at this moment in time. So I would strongly suggest that you don't. If you believe that you are a compliant sourcer, and obviously we believe that we are, we do work with other sourcing agents, we co-source, but only where we have control of the investor, so we know what checks we've done and that they are thorough, or the other sourcing agent is willing to share what checks they've done for us to be able to see and confirm for ourselves. Because it's the anti-money laundering bit that will cost you heavily if you're not aware of what to do or you don't know what the other sourcing agent has done. And a sourcing agent checking that they actually have the funds to make the purchase is not due diligence. It is not compliant with money laundering. There's an awful lot more to it than that. And sadly, most sourcing agents haven't got a clue what they're doing and what they need. So that is Zamar's question. If you have any other questions that you want me to put to the group, if you want them to be where I don't name you, that's absolutely fine. Just put anonymous and I'll ask the question as an anonymous member if you want an answer to a question. We'll start doing sort of member questions on these sessions if there are enough of them that come in. We'll have another one for next week around the anti-money laundering application process. But Tony and I have to do a bit of digging on that, and I have to make Tony go through the process for us to screenshot it and see if anything's changed first. So you have to give us a bit of time on that one. So that's compliance for this morning. You're welcome, Dan. Thank you. I'm glad that you found it as great value. That's compliance over coffee for this morning. I think it's Thursday. I really do think it's Thursday. Tony's grinning at me. He's not saying yes and no, but I'm thinking it's Thursday. So have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe, and I will be back with you next Tuesday and Thursday for another Compliance Over Coffee. Bye for now.